When it comes to whether one foldable is better than the other, there are too many key factors to take into account. In many cases, what one does, the other just can't match. And that could be the deciding factor for you. So let's take a look at the Pixel Fold versus the Galaxy Z Fold 4. Key differences. One main thing to keep in mind is this is Samsung's fourth effort, soon to be fifth, while this is Google's first effort. And need I remind you of how rocky the first Z Fold's release went? Let's not go there. But keep it in mind when comparing the two because one has years of R&D versus the other. Now with that out of the way, there are the areas that absolutely separate the two, starting with design. It's very obvious that these two foldable devices do not share the same design. The wider, shorter build of the Pixel is going to appeal to some more than the narrow, taller design of the Z Fold 4 and vice versa. Now, while the Pixel Fold design makes using the front display so much easier than the Z Fold's 4 front display, the Fold's 4 unfolded design is easier to palm in one hand versus the Pixel when it's unfolded. So that brings the question, which display will you interact more often with? 9 times out of 10, the front display is the display you'll handle most tasks with, and it's much more user-friendly on the Pixel Fold due to design. It's about the same width as a S23 Ultra, so essentially you're using the same size display as other traditional smartphones, it's just shorter. Now, I can't just write the Z Fold 4 completely off due to front display sizing, but I can say that I enjoy the Pixel Fold's front display a lot more. But that leads us to the unfolded display. Both have the same reflective glossy foldable glass going on, so no advantage either way, but they do unfold to totally different sizing and aspect ratios. From a design perspective, the Z Fold 4 is much more one-handed user-friendly, and it makes a lot of sense considering you can use an S Pen with it. So being able to hold it in one hand confidently is important. Now the Pixel Fold on the other hand is a lot wider and requires the pinky support for one-handed use, so it's really up to personal preference in that regard. Now this leads us into another key difference, app support for unfolded displays. Samsung, being well ahead of everyone in the foldable market, has built-in app optimization for apps that don't conform and have apps that have conform. So while Instagram has a way larger footprint on the Z Fold 4, it's rather small and underwhelming on the Pixel Fold in comparison. That is until you rotate the device vertically to get a larger footprint, but it's still not as fulfilling as on the Z Fold 4. Now Twitter is way better optimized on the Pixel Fold, and I'd expect apps like Instagram and others to conform as well in time. But as of current, the Z Fold 4 has better app optimization. Another key separator is the way Samsung separates the two displays. Samsung's Fold software is polished and developed over years. You have the option of having separate lock screen and home screen wallpapers between the two displays on the Z Fold 4. The home screen layouts are separate from one another as well. This is a well thought option considering you might want certain apps for the folded display versus the unfolded one. Now in Pixel's defense, the outer display being fully functional, it doesn't make it feel as separate from the internal display, but I do think we would all appreciate being able to separate them if we chose to. Another key difference between the two is display quality. I was very shocked to find that the Pixel Fold's display looked much more appealing than the Z Fold's when side by side, watching the same HDR footage, both set to the same natural display setting and both adjusted to max brightness. Now, Google's display is rated with a peak brightness of 1450 nits, which is 250 more nits than Samsung's 1200 nits peak, but it wasn't so much brightness as it was colors. Google's representation and color reproduction was superior to Samsung's Fold display, and I must admit, I was shocked. Now they both have different GPUs and different processing obviously, but Samsung is typically known as the best display, now in air quotes. This is just something I wanted to note, and I know the Z Fold 5 is coming and will reassemble then for sure. Oh, and one last quick separator is the inner camera. On the Pixel Fold, it's not under display and it yields a better result due to this fact. Fingerprint sensors. Now, I tried simultaneously pressing activating the fingerprint sensor on both devices at the same time just to see who was more accurate and faster. In conclusion, I couldn't really find one over the other, and my test wasn't scientific at all, so it's safe to say that both are great. Build quality. Honestly, both builds are decent. Frosted backs, aluminum siding, Gorilla Glass, high pixel density displays, and solid camera arrays. And some people are trying to discredit the Pixel Fold's camera hardware, accusing it of being supposedly Pixel 7a hardware. But when I look at the camera specs between the two, nothing is the same. The Pixel Fold cameras have their own specs and should be judged in that narrative. And since we're on the topic of cameras, let's get into cameras. Yo, hey, I think Samsung put out a little shutter lag fix in their recent updates. But on another note, these are the front-facing cameras. As you guys can see, I got the Pixel Fold in my right hand versus the Galaxy Z Fold 4. Now, obviously, the Z Fold 5 is right around the corner. And better believe we'll be right back with another one. But these are the front-facing cameras. It looks like the Pixel, I don't know if it's because of the size of the screen. It seems like it's a little bit, tad more zoomed in than the other. So it's a not as wide focal length. Now let's flip it to the back, the big boy, the ones that really matter. All right, so now we have the rear facing unfolded, basically meaning that I can see myself in both devices on a nice large display, and I can frame myself while using the best camera. That's the beauty of the foldable devices. Now, one thing I will say, shout out to Pixel, because they give you all of the controls on that display. When you're looking at it, you can hit record from there. But again, these are the main wide angle rear cameras. These are the main cameras that most people are going to use to snap photos of things that are not themselves, unless they setting up to shoot themselves like I am right now. So let me know down in the comment section below which one is better. Now, as you may know, when it comes to the Samsung, I've had gripes with color accuracy and skin tones and so forth, and Google has a whole initiative to address that. So shout out to Google. Samsung, you can eliminate that by using Pro Video mode, but right now I'm just using standard mode on both to keep it fair. Trying to get the best angle. So these are the ultra wide lenses on both. We got the Google Pixel Fold right here versus the Z Fold 4. Now, something that is in common with these devices, well, actually not really so much, because neither of them are using the Pro camera. Like I said before, Pixel's processing is king versus the hardware per se, or is it? About to upload this video and go viral. What you doing, bro? What you mean what I'm doing? I'm about to go viral. What you talking about? Bro, I'm gonna use this viral Drizzy track. I'm gonna put it on my vlog and I'm gonna go viral. It's as simple as that. Don't work like that. Wait. What you mean it doesn't work like that? This is called YouTube. This is my tube. I upload whatever I want. Listen, yes, it's YouTube and yes, it's your tube, but it's not your music. Explain. Listen to this, bro. If you go viral and you make 100,000. 100,000? Guess what? Drizzy about to get like 60, 70 racks of that. Whoa. Wait a hot second. You mean to tell me if I upload this viral vlog, which it is, come on, player, and I can make 100,000, Drizzy get like 60, 70K possibly? Oh no, player. What's that website you was talking about? Bro, I told you, Epidemic Sound. Link down in the description, get 30 days free. We gonna use that, told you. Battery life. Now, this is a tough topic because it's always subjective, but let's tackle the controversy. On paper, the Pixel Fold has the larger battery at 4,821 milliamp hours versus the Z Fold's 4,400 milliamp hours. In my experience on both, you have to give them time to learn your usage patterns and optimize accordingly. Now, if you own either of these phones, comment down below on battery life from your perspective and help the community out. And within the tech community, you'll always hear diverse results because everyone uses their device differently. Everyone uses different apps that run in the background. So in that case, user behavior is the biggest determining factor next to phone optimization. I'm able to get through my day on either device. User experience. I enjoy using both of these folds for different reasons and in different ways. The Z Fold 4 offers a foldable that's palmable with one hand, compatible with a stylus S Pen, more polished and foldable software, more familiar in the foldable market, but yet hasn't fully matured in 4 iterations. It still has room for growth, but where it is and where it's going is promising. Now, the Pixel Fold, on the other hand, offers my favorite front display on any foldable to date. It's not palmable, unfolded, but I don't mind that. There's no stylus support, which would be nice to have, but the Google software experience is that clean, smooth experience we know and love, but it has room for more foldable optimization in apps. Now, it is Google's first attempt, so we can give them some leniency in that right, but it's not the first foldable phone. I find the Pixel Fold to be an exciting phone to watch develop over the years. I think both devices yield a new experience from the typical smartphone design. It's literally a phone that unfolds into a tablet. But this is nothing new at this point. We are like 5 years in or so, and the technology needs to find its maturity state. The price is high and the technology is not yet normalized, but I still have faith in it. Technically, it's two pieces of mobile tech built into one form factor, and I could get behind that. Hit the comment section down below and let me know which one you think is the better fold and what Pixel Fold content or versus content you want to see next.